Okay. Hello. Hello, everyone. We're at 20 minutes late, but we got there in the end. So bear with. We are going to try and add Chloe and Halle. Let's see. William, wait. Stay here. Let's see if we can add them. How do you add?
It's alright. They'll tag you.
Let's see where they are. Message. Well, I don't even know if I had.
It's alright. Let them comment.
Yeah, they'll come soon.
They'll come soon, and then get rid of that. Get rid of those because they will show over the page.
The comments?
Yeah. Here we go.
No. Oh, we're looking at request.
Yeah, see if they come through on that.
Have they come through? No, not yet.
Okay, and then let's see if they comment.
We'll get there in the end, guys. Bear with. Thank you for joining. Do you think possibly by...
Yeah, try.
Yeah, see, they need to request. Oh, wait, here, let's see. Chloe. Halle. Oh, they joined.
Woo.
Let's do this.
Still.
And waiting for Chloe and Halle to join.
Hi.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Can you hear? Are you audible?
Yes. Yes, we can
Yeah,
hear
we can
you.
hear you.
Can you hear us?
Thank you so much for waiting. I know we were supposed to go live 10, 15 minutes ago. We got there in the end. A few tech issues.
It's all right.
But
It's all
yeah.
right.
How are you guys? How's all the promo?
We are good today. Promo has been a little crazy, back-to-back stuff every single day, but we're really grateful and just living life.
Living life, living large.
I just want to say, from all of Clash Magazine, I reviewed your album for you, and everybody at Clash Magazine loves your album. Congratulations on the new record. It's been about five to 6 days since release.
Yes.
And I think, and I can attest for a lot of people, that we think is one of the strongest R&B releases we've had all year. So congrats.
Thank you.
How does it feel to have your labor? No, you're welcome. How does it feel to have your labor of love out there?
You know, it feels really great. We've been holding on to this project and just listening to it from our computers for the longest. And so it's kind of weird and surreal knowing that it's out on other people's phones and other people's streaming platforms and they can actually buy it. It's so wild to us. And we're just happy that people are loving the music, they're relating to it, and we can't wait to further promote and keep performing and putting out more videos. It's going to be a really fun ride, this album.
I've compiled most of the questions, but we have some fan questions at the end. Hopefully we'll get through those as well. But did you feel a sense of pressure or expectation that comes with having a sophomore record? Or did you relish the challenge of releasing another body of work? Yeah,
You know,
stream on Godly Hour for Clear Skin, I agree.
So we felt a bit of pressure just from ourselves. I mean, you know, The Kids Are All Right was a great album for us. We were so shocked with the Grammy nomination. So honestly, when it came down to making this next project, we were like, okay, where do we start? How do we kind of one-up that?
Yeah.
But as far as pressure from everyone else, That was never a thing. It was just us trying to do the best that we could to one up ourselves in a way. But then we realized we did not have to do that, and we just have to create and make something beautiful like we always do in our garage, and just have fun and make music, and whatever comes out of that is meant to be. And once we kind of had that mindset, that's when all of it kind of started to fall into place, and we weren't thinking about opinions of others or anything. So
can you break down your album title, Ungodly Hour? I don't know if you've seen a few comments from a small vocal minority who think the Ungodly Hour is basically your descent into darkness, when actually, if you look at the literal meaning of Ungodly Hour, it means extremely early or extremely late. But I just wanted to get in your own words why you went with Ungodly Hour, and actually if there were any other album titles you were considering before you went with Ungodly Hour.
Yeah, so first and foremost, we love God. Like, we're so spiritual, and we always put God first and foremost. So how we kind of got to the title Ungodly Hour, we had this session with these amazing two guys, Disclosure, and their brothers, and it was so fun seeing them work because they're like the male white versions of us, and it was really great seeing their synergy. And so I had this written in my note. I think it said Ungodly Hour, and usually when Halle and I, when we are creating, we'll have a phrase or something that inspires a song. The inspiration starts from somewhere. So we all sat down and we were pondering on the phrase Ungodly Hour, and we were like, what could we say with that? And we all came up with love me at the ungodly hour. And what that really meant to us is love me when I'm love me when I'm not only at my best, but also when I'm at my worst. Love me when I'm sad. Love me when I'm happy. Love me when I'm feeling really sexy and naughty. Love me for all of me. And we felt that phrase really wrapped up the entire album, because if you listen to each song on it, we are truly bearing our souls. You know, we're not just being one-sided. So that's why it's called Ungodly Hour.
That was a question for later on. Ungodly Hour is my favorite track. A different direction for you sonically, I think, but how did that collaboration come to be? Because I guess you've never worked with another set of siblings, so new for you.
Yes, so Disclosure had actually been working on their album, which, you know, is absolutely amazing. And we were so excited to get in a session with them. And the creative process was so much fun. I mean, they're literally like mirrors of us in a way. Like, there's one that's super like me. And then Guy is like really like Chloe. He's very techie and like very anal about stuff. And then the other one is kind of like jazzy, like me, and just chill and just goes with the flow. So that was such a fun session, because we were like, whoa, they're like really like, it's funny watching other siblings work. So that's how that came about, and we've always been huge fans of them.
Okay, let's see what other questions we have. I want to go back to the early sessions you had with, even before you were recording for Ungodly Hour. I want to know what was on your mood boards. What reference points did you have, influences you were thinking that you'd be delving into for this record? Because you are, you know, you're in your 20s now, you're no longer teenagers. So how was this going to be a different experience for you than the Kids Are Alright?
Yeah, so we're always creating. But I think it took us like a year after to like sit down and be like, okay, we're going to start this next album now. And like the very first step with us doing that, we created like this mood board, and we got like 3-4 posters, and we put it together with red duct tape, and we got a bunch of editorial magazines, and a lot of the photos that were on that mood board, it was a lot of naked women, naked people, because we wanted it to symbolize us coming into our own and showing our sexuality,
our
and
raw side, the bare side of us that people do not see.
Exactly. And there was even a phrase on there, even before we came up with the title Ungodly Hour, it said the trouble with angels. And so that was very inspiring for us as we were creating this project, because we were like, okay, we know what we want this album to feel like. We want it to feel sexy, grown, vulnerable, like us. We want us to bare our souls completely. So it's really fun looking at the mood board now that the album's done and seeing that we created the exact project that we wanted to. So it was pretty cool doing that. And the very first like sessions we had, we rented an Airbnb in Malibu. We brought all of our equipment from home and we packed up. This was when I had my Mini Cooper at the time. We packed up all that stuff.
In her tiny little Mini Cooper.
Yeah.
And it was such a fun trip. You know, it was just me, Chloe, and our baby brother. And we were like, no parents allowed. We're just going to go here by the beach and just create. And that was kind of the starting point.
Yeah, and we created Rest of Your Life there, and we created Baby Girl there, and like 13 other songs, but those were the two that made it. So it's pretty cool that was like the starting point.
Was there a sense of trepidation that you would be showing a more mature side to yourselves? Because up until now, your music, but it has been before quite youthful, quite precocious. But now, obviously, you are no longer teenagers. You are very much grown women. So was there a sense of, I'm having to shed that layer and leave it behind and move forward? Were you scared about that you'd alienate any fans?
So we weren't scared about it, but there definitely was some thought that went into it. I mean, because everybody has, you know, kind of watched us grow up on YouTube ever since we were, 10 and 12 years old. So everybody kind of has that young, sweet girl image of us in their head. But what I love about it is that also a lot of our fans who grew up watching us on YouTube, a lot of them are our age, you know? A lot of them are growing with us, you know? A lot of them are 21, 20 right now too. So the album kind of growth for us all. Yeah. And a natural kind of shift for all of us. So I'm really excited about it. Hey, Sway. And it's really fun, you know, to kind of just dip into the grown side of us and show people like, okay, this is who we've become.
Yeah, and it was really funny too. Like, so our little brother was like 14. We kind of call him like our mini A&R. So we play him the songs first, and then we play it for our parents. And so most of the things we're talking about in our music, our parents really never heard us talk about or explain. So they would always be like shocked when they'd hear a new song, and then by like the second, third listen, they'd be like, "Oh, I like this." Once they got over like the shock that we're not little girls anymore, they like
what songs were they like? Oh, okay. I mean, your cousin, because you actually Busy Boy.
Definitely
Yeah, exactly.
Busy Boy. Definitely Wonder What She Thinks of Me.
So, you know, Wonder What She Thinks of Me is quite cinematic. It's quite Disney-esque, you know.
Yeah.
But
so I love our parents because they appreciated us growing into our own and like just breaking down and how we were writing these lyrics. So I'm really grateful for our families. They were very like instrumental with us for this.
I mean, we've spoken about it before, but there is a nice sort of religious theme that runs through your record. The intro almost sounds like a hymn. And your gospel, the interludes are almost gospel-esque. And you obviously make allusions to Jesus and Baby Girl. Can you explain in your own words how your faith has influenced you on Godly Hour in the context of growing up? How it's still a feature of your lives?
Yes, well, our faith has always been a central part of who we are. You know, we grew up believing in God and, you know, believing that we were given this gift of song for a reason, and believing that, you know, we're being used as vessels to share God's love and light. So for this album, as we were showing the kind of side that people have not seen, the naughtier side, the different side of us, it was kind of very important to us to keep that theme throughout, but also show the struggles that comes with finding yourself and learning to be okay every single day, because not everybody is peaches and cream every single day. Every day is perfect. So we were really excited to show that through our, you know, album, and show our spirituality and show that it's so very prominent even in the darkest times, and that it definitely shines out always, even through the darkest times. Like our songs like Overwhelmed and Lonely, these are all like mantras and messages that we were kind of saying to ourselves to lift our spirits up and to remind us that we are here to share God's love and light, and that at the end of the day, not every day will be perfect, but that's a part of the journey. So yeah.
Nice. But I think what's really lovely about it is it's quite subtle the way you talk about faith, because, you know, it's there, but it's in the background. And I think a lot of people can actually relate to that. It's not so overt that, the secular fans will be like, oh, but yeah, really, really like the way Faith was interwoven into this.
Thank you.
What are your personal favorites on the record and why? I can imagine it probably changes for you, but right now, what would you say are your favorites?
Yeah, it changes every day. Today, I'm kind of in a lonely mood. Like, I don't know.
Oh,
I
okay.
love lonely because it's coming from such a positive perspective. And I know we've all had those feelings when we just really feel alone in the world, like no one's really there for us. But then technically you're not alone because look at the person in the mirror. And like, I'm learning. I'm such like I love love. I'm so clingy to my family. I never really truly want to be alone. I think I'm a true Cancer in that way, but like I'm learning that I like to be alone. Even before quarantine started happening, I like taking myself out on dates. I like sitting there by myself and being alone in my thoughts. So I'm definitely like in a lonely kind of mood. Like that's me today. What about you?
What about you, Halle?
I mean, I think of all the songs as my children. I gave birth to them.
We had
So we had a
birth.
water birth to
Okay.
these children. So it's
Oh,
very
nice analogy. I like
yeah.
that analogy.
So it's very hard to choose a favorite. But I will say for today, I'll agree with Chloe and say
Yeah?
I'm kind of in a lonely
Yeah?
mood. It's a little gloomy here.
Oh, that's probably why.
I think that's why.
Okay. I mean, you've made allusions to some star signs. What star sign don't you like?
Ooh.
That's a
Ooh.
good question.
I really love Zodiac and believe in that. But,
Okay.
you know, according to the Zodiac signs and astrology, Cancer and Aries aren't really supposed to get together.
Yeah, we're
and,
not
like,
supposed to be
get
good
along.
partners or
So
anything.
because we're actually really great business partners and best friends, anytime I'll meet a sign that, you know, a Cancer usually won't get along with, I'm kind of more open about it because I see how my sister and I work. You know?
Yeah,
Okay.
I will say for sure, I love Libras.
Oh,
like
yeah.
all of the
Okay,
people, yes,
Okay.
all of the people
They're
who
very
I
peaceful,
genuinely,
serene people.
yes,
Yeah.
that I genuinely
Branson.
connect with are Libras, Branson, and so many other people in my life, and then also my beautiful Cancer
You like
sister.
Cancers?
I do like
Or you
Cancers.
just like
I
me?
think because I'm used to Cancers, but I just like her, so I don't know.
Cancer? Alex is a Cancer.
Alex is a Cancer, yes.
Okay, somebody just said, what do you think about Sagittarians? Now, I'm a Sagittarian. I think we're the best star sign.
They're very hard
The
workers.
Zodiac.
I think Sages are pretty cool. I haven't met
Yeah.
a mean Sag, so
You haven't met me, but okay.
Someone
Okay,
said
so
Branson Ballers, right?
okay, so yeah, we need to get back on track.
Okay.
You produce, you write your own stuff, you even arrange, you co-engineer. When I was looking through the credits, you're pretty much imprinted on every song. That hasn't always been the case in mainstream R&B, where you've had a producer at the helm, and they're pretty much, you know, imprinting on the artist to the point where they're sort of like puppets. That's not the case with you two. What does complete creative control mean to you?
Complete creative control means everything to us. It's really all we've ever known. You know, my sister and I, we started wanting to do our own music when we were like 10 and 8. And I remember we would go around and meet producers in Atlanta, and we'd sing for them, and we'd be excited to be in a studio, but no one would want to write a song for 10 and 8-year-olds.
Yeah, like, what do you do for little girls?
Yeah, what are we really going to talk about? So when we realized no one really wanted to work with us in that way, our dad, he sat us down on the living room table, and he printed out like these sheets that said song structure. Like, our dad's a great writer, but not like, he doesn't know much about like the songwriting. So we were all learning together in that way. And he was like, okay, how can we start using figurative language in your lyrics? And we all wrote this first song together. It was called What Makes You Sad.
Yeah, it was a terrible song.
But that was truly the foundation
I think
for
you
us.
should release it. I think it needs to be released.
If we can find it. And
Okay.
then like I get my dad's mind. He's like very.
He's a nerd. Chloe's
Yeah.
a nerd, just like my father. They're very like science and math and techie
Yeah.
people, like just smart and good at that stuff.
And I loved science and math growing up. So I think that's why I love producing, because in a way music is math and like putting all these different sounds together, and it's like we're building something. So that's how it kind of started. Our first stuff was kind of really not it. But as we continue to put more and more hours and, you know, continue to hone our craft, it got better and better naturally. And it's so odd for us to not be hands-on with our music. Even when we do collaborate with other amazing producers and songwriters, even after we're writing together, we'll take back the session, take back the stems to our house in our garage, and we'll add more weird harmonies, more experimental sounds, so more of us could be in the song. So, and it's pretty cool how we can be two young Black women and executive produce all of our projects we put out, really, and we can't wait to keep that up as we progress in our careers.
Yeah, because the world needs to know that both of you are brilliant producers, but Chloe, you are really brilliant. It has to be said, I think you're innovative with your stuff.
Thank you.
And often female producers don't get as much recognition to their male counterparts.
Yeah.
So what does it mean to you to be seen amongst this new generation of female producers coming through? Because, you know, there's Sid in the internet, you know, within R&B. How does it feel to be part of that new school?
It's pretty great. You know, I've been so inspired by like Meryl Garbus of Tune Yards and Imogene Heap and Grimes, because they're so hands-on with their music and they're finding new innovative ways to create sounds. And one day I hope to walk in their shoes as well. And, you know, I hope one day we could even make music for other artists and score movies and films and do production for other amazing artists. That will always be fun. So it's never a formula. It's just, I feel like there's a higher power, and before we do anything, I'm like, God, please let this not be trash. And then whatever comes out will come out, and not everything's good, but it's pretty cool when you look back and you like step away and you're like, whoa, I just made that beat. That's pretty cool. So that's why I love creating with my sister, because it's like in such a male dominated industry, we are standing on our own 2 feet.
Mm-hmm. Nice. That's a nice slogan. But when it comes to your collaborators, I think the really lovely thing about this record is there's just enough collaborators so as to not detract from your signature sound. Mm-hmm. Do you find it challenging co-writing and co-producing when there's other, you know, big names in the same room as you? Is that a challenge for you?
So, you know, what's so interesting about it is it's always an eye-opening experience.
Right.
You know, we go into these rooms with these huge producers normally being like, okay, you know, we're nervous. We're just, you know, 2 girls who make music in our garage, and, you know, we hope that it's going to be good enough, right? But then we get in there and we realize, wow, you know, they're doing exactly what we do. This is amazing. And when you collaborate with the soul who is very open and loving and kind and welcoming into the collaboration process, it's very easy. Like certain collaborators on this album, like Scott Storch.
Oh, we love him.
We love him so much. He is very open.
I'm so glad that, sorry, Halle, I'm so glad you mentioned Scott, because when you look at the wider pantheon of hip hop and R&B, I think he's actually quite underrated.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he's seeing this resurgence. Anyway, back to you.
Yes, absolutely. So he's one of these amazing producers that's very open and will let you hop all over his stuff and change it and mix it up. And he's very humble in that way, as well as Boy Wonder, who collaborated on Royal on Rest of Your Life. And, you know, my favorite part of these sessions is that when my sister goes in and she like plays, she gets nervous and she puts on her headphones and then she like takes them off and is like, okay, do you guys want to hear what I came up with for the music? When we're like all writing, right? And they're like, yeah, sure. So then she plays it and they're all like mind blown. And they're like, what? You just did this right now? So that's always like my favorite part of these sessions, because we're always, you know, reminding ourselves that, hey, we can do this too. And when you work with somebody who's very open, it's a very loving experience. Now, sometimes, you know, there has been certain experiences where somebody is closed off and it's just weird and the vibe is not there. of
Do you
course,
want to name drop anyone? You want to put anybody
no.
on?
No, but you know, there has been those sessions.
None of those made the album.
None of those made the album, but
Oh,
they're learning
Sorry.
experiences, you know, and it's kind of hard to open yourself up to somebody that you don't really know. So from that point, we can kind of understand why somebody would be kind of closed off if they're an introvert. But that's why it's really easy for us to just work together, because we know each other. The bond is there. We can tell each other, no, that sounds like shit, and move on, and it won't be a big deal, you know.
I mean, this was going to be one of my later questions, but you know, you're sisters, but you're also part of a duo, so you're pretty much always together. Are there times, or have there been incidences where you're like, okay, you need to just leave the room and give me a moment? Do you have those moments?
Yeah, you know, we are two completely different individuals. Sometimes I think we're twins, but if you really know us, you'll know how different we truly are. So, of course, because our music is our heart and souls, our music will translate how we are as a human being. So there's two completely different perspectives. We have two different kinds of music tastes, but I think that's what makes our music so great and layered. And a lot of times, it's happened several times. We'll be in the studio and one person will like one lyric better, or I'll like one lyric better. And it's like, I don't know about that, and we can't decide. So a lot of times our equalizer will be Branson, our little brother, will be like, Branson, come in here. What do you think about this? Which one do you like better? And whichever one
So he's a
goes
mediator
for,
between you two.
yeah. So whichever one he goes for, that's the kind of direction we go. And in the rare times when we can't settle on something and it's like we're both headstrong on a decision, we'll just walk away. Because at the end of the day, like, it's pretty cool doing business with each other, but our sisterhood and our best friend relationship is a lot more important to us. So we'll just walk away and just let it die out, and then we'll move on and go to the next thing.
Okay. Good answer. I think now more than ever, we're starting to see, I think, vocal production in songs as an art form. Sometimes I feel like vocal production isn't given as much recognition as the songwriting component or even the production, but it is a part of the production. And anybody who's heard your songs knows that you two are the real deal. In the words of Whitney, I only listen to singers who can, I think I've said it wrong, singers who can actually sing. It's the focal part of your record, in my opinion. Can you tell us how much goes into creating those vocal moments? Because they're so intricate and so complex. If you were to break it down, it's just layers upon layers of foregrounded vocals, melodies, counter melodies. How much work goes into vocals?
Yes, well, vocals is our absolutely favorite part.
Yeah.
That's where we can kind of play and color, and we are kind of harmony junkies. So we will like put 1,000 harmonies on one little part because it sounds pretty. I mean, we are just kind of the junkies in that way with harmonies. And when it comes to singing, it has been so important to us to show that we actually can sing and we actually can use our vocals to do all of these acrobats. And a lot of the times the feeling that we want to get across is kind of this out of world, alien-like, angelic sound. So sometimes you have to push your vocals, you have to reach up through the higher octaves in order to get the feeling to make you have goosebumps. You know, you have to push yourself in that way. And, you know, we're so happy that God has given us this gift where we actually have the ability to do that. And as far as when it comes to singing with each other and making sure that we have those moments together, like, for instance, the crescendo on Wonder What She Thinks of Me, that was super important to us. Because we feel like it just goes along with the story and like rising. It's the climax of the song. And, you know, I'm so grateful to be able to do this with my sister, because I feel like there's a certain bond with a sibling that you have when you sing. When two siblings sing together, it's something about it. Like, we love the Clark sisters. Mary. Like, whenever we hear them sing together, it's like the world, the sky opens up or something. I don't know what it is about siblings, but I think it's a bond and a closeness of your being together. So we have always wanted to use that ability to our advantage in giving people the effect that we want to give, like the goosebumps and the chills and all of that. So that's been super important to us to show off our vocals, because, you know, we love hearing amazing vocals
Yeah.
that make us do a stanky face.
Yeah.
Like, we love that
It's
stuff.
our
I
favorite
mean, there's
thing
so
to
many
do.
moments during this album where I was like, wow, this is really good. And then you rewind and then you're just like, did that actually take place? But yeah. The funny thing is you mentioned siblings singing together. I sing. I'm
Oh,
not
beautiful.
but I've tried to get my little sister can sing as well, and I've tried to, hey, let's do some harmonies, let's do it like Chloe and Halle, and she's just like, no, I'm not going to do it, because she says you always take over. She says you always take over, and my friends say the same thing. So yeah, I just want to ask, are you one take vocalists? Can you go in there and just be like, okay, I like a raw version, or are you like, okay, we need to re-record, we're perfectionists?
So the
Funny, we're kind of different in that way.
Like, we both can do either or.
Of course you will.
But like, I'm so anal and I'm such a perfectionist. I love to record like 20 lead vocals and comp it together. Like, that's my favorite thing to do. I don't know.
She will do that over and over
and
again.
Hallie's like, I have to do another take.
Like,
really?
Just last night we were doing this. Like, Chloe wanted, I was like, Chloe, you got it. Like, in the first take, she's like, let me just do it. Let me just do it again. And then when I came in the seat, she was like, okay, you want to just get some extra? I was like, oh, that's fine. What I got, all right, that's fine. Like, so it's funny how we kind of are different in that way.
What were you singing yesterday?
Sorry?
What were you singing yesterday?
Oh,
was it an unreleased track?
A new arrangement.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it's good you mentioned that, because I've been watching your live performances and you've got these really lovely ad-libs that you pepper throughout.
Oh, thanks.
That is a sign of a good live performer, that you're not just getting the same, you have the ability to sound better live than you actually do on song.
We never hear the same arrangement every time. Like, it's so funny because I don't think we could ever perform the same song and have it the same every time, because we just get old of how we used to do it. So we always have to figure out a way to like switch it up.
How much work goes into these live performances? Because I have to say, you are performing regularly in your back garden, but it looks different every single time. How much, I feel like so much work goes into the live performances. Do you enjoy that aspect?
Yes, we definitely enjoy all of that. A lot of work does go into the live performances, but it normally takes just like a day or so to like get the arrangement, and then the choreography. We just kind of do it all in a day and then just film it the next day. And it's kind of just an in and out thing. So it's fun in that way.
I wanted to touch on your label Parkwood. I feel like it's a very well-oiled machine. You obviously have a fabulous mentor and label head in Beyonce, but also a team of really fabulous creatives and industry people helping you hone in and fulfill your creative vision. Can you break down the Parkwood family and how they've helped you thus far?
Oh, wow. Well, we are definitely a family. We love everyone a part of Parkwood. And for this album, Ungodly Hour, we have had an amazing creative director, Andrew McCatsey, and we love him so much because
Andrew, we know Andrew.
Yeah. Anytime we have an idea, we'll text it to him, and he kind of helps bring it to life, or vice versa. He has such a great eye, and we're truly happy that we did this project together. The whole Parkwood team is amazing. Creatively, they're in an entirely different world. And I guess that's known and expected because they worked for Queen Bee. But I'm really happy to be a part of Parkwood and be with my sister. And we always love Beyonce for taking us under her wing and supporting us. And every time she posted something that had to do with this new album, it made us so happy. We were always shocked every time because we still fangirl over her. So yeah, we love Parkwood.
We all do, yeah. So I've got some deep questions, we'll see, but also I'm wary of the time as well. But we're now seeing a generation coming through galvanized by all of these systemic injustices happening in the world, particularly with the Black Lives Matter movement. I wanted to know what activism means to you, because I feel like that's a question we're all asking ourselves. Activism isn't necessarily something that works the same for everyone. I wanted to know, with you guys, you have a platform, what activism means to you two.
Wow, yeah, activism means so much to us. I mean, we feel like it's our duty as you know, women as Black women, as Black women who are musicians and producers and who take ownership over their artistry, we feel like it's our duty to stand up for what's right and to use our platform for the greater good. So with everything that is going on, I mean, we have always used our platform for Black Lives Matter and all the things that are so important to us, because it's horrible what's happening to our brothers and sisters. We've been getting killed in the streets by police brutality for so long. And, you know, we were really emotional and really just upset about it a few weeks ago, but now we're trying to be a bit more hopeful, you know, because we're now seeing a lot of people rally around us, with us, and finally stand up with us for things that we have been saying for so long. This has been happening for a long time, but now people are starting to see it. And now people want to do something about it. It's not just us anymore. It's not just the Black community anymore. It's everybody. So we are hopeful that now we will be getting more change and more justice because everybody is standing up. And that's something that's truly powerful to us. And all we can do in this time is use our voices for the greater good and try to bring some healing with our music, with our voices to everybody during this time, because we feel collectively, especially the Black community, we all are kind of on the same wavelength of just hurting, but also healing at the same time and demanding that justice comes to those who need it, and to all of our brothers and sisters who we have lost senselessly. So, you know, we just can do all we can and just try our best.
I think sometimes with artists there's a fear that they have to remain neutral. Is the notion of getting political something that scares you a bit, or do you feel like actually no, we have voices, we have to speak up, imbue our own art with politics if need be?
It doesn't scare us at all, because this isn't just a trend for us, because we are Black women. It's something we are experiencing every day ever since we were little girls. So as much as half the world is now opening their eyes to this, we have always known this. And that's why, you know, our parents have always taught us when we were younger, you have to be 20 times better just to get the same opportunities as your other counterparts. So this isn't anything new for us. We will continue to use our voices, continue to use our platforms to inspire all of the beautiful Black little girls and little boys to know that they can do it. And when they see proper representation, they'll believe in themselves more. Like for me, I remember we went to this concert. I saw Beyonce on the stage, Alicia Keys, Missy Elliott.
Oh, is it?
Okay, there you are. There you are.
Good. Okay. I heard your wonderful answer. You had frozen, but I heard your beautiful words. But no, you two, I think I can say for everyone that you're wonderful, wonderful role models, and a projection, I think, of the Black Girl Magic hashtag. And the world is very lucky to have you two as yeah, at the forefront. But I wanted to ask, because so many people are reading up on prominent Black figures, whether they're activists, authors, entertainers, or singers. Who would you like your fans to know more about, read more on, or who would you suggest that they learn more about?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I have always been inspired by the Billie Holidays and Nina Simone's of the world, because especially Nina Simone, I mean, she was all about standing up for what's right and for her community and what she believes in. I would say just gravitate towards the artists that speak up and that say important things. And also read more. I've been reading this beautiful book called The Water Dancer by Tanisha Coates, and it has really opened my eyes and my perspective about everything. You know, it's a story about this slave named Haram, and he just kind of is finding himself through slavery and getting out of that mindset and learning to come into one as his own. And I can relate to him in a lot of ways reading that book. So I don't know, just opening my eyes and opening my eyes to new things and to people who really have prominent, beautiful messages.
Yeah, for me, I would have to say I've been learning so much more about Shaka Khan and Donna Summers. I think what they have done for music itself is so incredible. I've also, I love Imogen Heap. I have this like big coffee book, and it has like all the scents she uses and how she puts them together. And so, yeah, she would be great. And I love, she even has these gloves. I know Ariana Grande used them before, but you could take your waveforms of your vocals and alter them in space. And I think it's so cool how you can combine music with technology and just doing such cool stuff with that. So yeah, I hope to learn more about that as well.
I think it's interesting you mentioned Donna Summer, because I feel like now we look at somebody like Donna Summer, how much she did in the 70s for disco and electronic music, and I feel like she didn't really get her dues. So I'm glad you mentioned Donna Summer, because
Yeah,
I think
love her.
she's underrated.
And
she's
the way
underrated.
she performs, it's so sensual and powerful. It's just,
No,
every time
nobody
I
likes
watch a
her.
performance of hers, I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Are there any UK Black artists that you are listening to right now?
Georgia Smith.
Yeah, we love Georgia Smith.
She is so beautiful too. I love her.
She's amazing.
And of course, Twigs. FKA
Yes,
Twigs.
we
love
love
her.
Twigs.
I remember.
Yes.
We love FKA Twigs in this house.
Yeah.
Yes.
When we were in London like 4 or 5 years ago, we were
We
at
saw
some
her.
restaurant.
We saw her at a restaurant with Robert
Yeah.
Pattinson.
Oh, okay.
And we were so
like
excited.
starstruck.
And we never said hi. And then another time we were at this flea market
here
on
in
Melrose. And so it was like this
Okay.
cute little vendor, and like we were looking for like sage and crystals and stuff. And she was in the same
We were like,
space as us.
That's Twigs.
I didn't say nothing, but I wanted to. I love her so much. So yeah.
I remember going to see her in London, I think in 2014 with my friend. And she had just released, I think, her first LP. Yeah, she's just such a beguiling performer. I'd never seen anybody move around the stage like she did. Actually, that was the first time I saw voguing. She vogued
yeah.
in real time, and I was like, wow, she's brilliant. Really good one.
So cool.
Halle, I know you get asked a lot, so I'm just gonna, this is more of a statement, but I just want to say that you are absolutely going to body the Little Mermaid role.
Thank you.
I'm so happy it went to a Black actress. I know it's beyond that, but I think having a Black actress playing a role like that is going to do wonders for Black girls going forward, anybody who goes into film. And actually, after hearing this record, I think your ethereal tones are going to translate really beautifully with the renditions you're going to be singing for the soundtrack. But I don't know if you're allowed to say, when will filming resume? Because I know we're in post-pandemic world.
Yeah, so I am not allowed to tell you that.
Oh, okay. That's right.
But I will say I'm so excited to start back. And, you know, it's such an honor for me to take on this role and show other Black girls that they can be princesses too, and kind of make Ariel mine in a way. And I'm just so excited.
She's amazing at it, guys. I've heard her sing the songs and I've cried every time.
Oh, we can't wait. Well, when we found out, when the announcement went online, I looked at my little sister and we slow clapped, because I hadn't thought about it before as the casting, but actually it makes perfect sense.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Right, so I actually want to field a few fan questions to you, and yeah, that will be it. But let's start with, what song do you wish you had written?
Ooh.
It's quite specific, but I think it's a good question.
What's the song, the Kanye song with Adam Levine?
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I love that song.
That's a really good question. Any song Lauryn Hill has put out, it just, how she connects with her lyrics, it's like, why didn't I ever think of that?
Yeah.
She's a genius.
Yeah. Her whole album. Yeah.
The thing that makes me sad about Lauryn Hill is she made this wonderful, oh, sorry, I just got a message that we need to wrap up soon. Let me stop speaking. Okay, tour. I know that we're in an interesting time, obviously, but do you have plans to tour next year? Are there plans?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, when everything opens back up, we will be the first ones touring. I mean, hopefully.
International? Do you have plans to do international?
Yes, absolutely. You know, we're so excited to perform this album live. It's going to be so much fun. especially with a live band element. I just
yeah,
get
the
chills
rumbling.
thinking about it. So it's just like our candy. So of course.
Let's end with this question. I think it's quite a nice one. What key piece of advice were you given that changed or evolved you as people and as artists?
I know
Oh, I
mine. Are we gonna say the same
Is
thing?
it the same one?
Mary?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Yeah. She's
So
gonna cry now.
this was for the
No,
opening
we
of the
took it.
Smithsonian Museum, and Obama was in the audience. Quincy Jones was in the audience, and Mary, they were going to come right after we finished singing because we were part of the gospel segment.
Yeah, we were standing with them.
And we always get nervous no matter what the performance is.
We're like hyperventilating. We're like, oh my God, we're so nervous. We're so nervous. And
Yeah.
they were there and they were just like,
And I remember
listen.
they said, they were like, you don't ever have to prove yourself to anyone. Just go out there and sing for God. You don't have to show people you can sing. Sing for God, and that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
And at that moment, I was like, yeah, I don't have to prove myself. I don't have to change myself. I don't have to become a version of me that people may want to see or say that they want to see of me. I just have to be myself, sing for God, because at the end of the day, we were born with this gift to give back to God and be a vessel and share light and inspire others to share their light. So as long as we do that, everything else will fall into place.
Yeah.
And at that point, I don't really care what anyone else says.
Yeah, it didn't matter who
Nice.
was in the audience. It didn't matter, you know, even though there were so many important people, it just kind of all flew away. And now every time we have a performance, we think of that.
Yeah.
That's really lovely. That's such a nice note to end on. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank
These are
you.
great
Sorry about the
questions.
glitches in the beginning. I'm so sad it's over, but I mean, you've long,
Hi, Quincy.
no, you've long been on our radar, on Clash's radar, Clash Magazine. And everybody, if you haven't already, go stream Ungodly Hour. It's one of the best albums of the year. You won't regret it. Thank you so much, guys.
Have a blessed
Thank
day.
you.
Bye.
You too. Thank you. Oh, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Thanks, Clash. Hopefully we'll have the interview up as a transcript tomorrow or the day after. Thank you.